All right. Well, welcome to the Sports Guys. Thank you guys for joining this week. We're really happy you're here. We have a very special program. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite sports, the sport I started with as a little kid, and that's soccer, or football, as they call it in Europe, FUT ball. And my co-host Rob is not with us this week. He's actually on the high seas right now in the Caribbean. He went to Cozumel today. I hope they're having a great time, he and his girlfriend Jess. But I have two very special guests, one of my best friends, Mark Coombe, and his beautiful daughter, McKenna. They've joined us. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Really glad you're here. You can see they're all decked out in their Inter Miami gear. There is no bigger Lionel Messi fans in the United States and maybe the world than these two guys. They like him so much that they actually bought season tickets to Inter Miami this year, even though they live up here in North Carolina. So you can imagine the logistics of trying to go down to see games down in South Florida. So proud of you guys for showing your fandom. But anyway, thanks guys for joining and taking Rob's spot for this week for MLS preview.
You're welcome.
No
Ready to talk about Messi?
Let's do it. Let's talk about Messi, MLS soccer going into the 2024 season. I have a couple fun questions for you guys before we kick off. First one is what is it like to be an Inter Miami season ticket holder? And what is it like going to a game? What's it like going to a game in that stadium with the whole crowd just geeked up to see, the world's greatest player?
Well, let me tell you, the first time we went was the first game he ever played. And the whole stadium, you're talking about 99.9% of the jerseys are Messi, just walking everywhere. Just 18,000 people, Messi jerseys. We're all there to see Messi. This flag, actually,
I'll pull it up.
was from that game.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. So everybody got that commemorative flag from the game. And he didn't play, and then he didn't play, and we were all getting anxious. Like, it's halftime.
And by the way, you guys probably paid a pretty penny for those tickets, right? But I know people like Tom Brady and LeBron James were there, and a lot of big-time celebrities all wanted to see him play. All the greatest players from every sport were all there, and I'm sure they paid a little bit more than you guys did.
They can afford a little bit more than we can.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, yes, they have suites set up just for celebrities right next to Messi. So they get to hug him, hold him. Kardashian was there. Will Smith's been there. A lot of celebrities.
And Mr. Beast there too.
Mr. Beast was
Mr. Beast was there?
Yeah. He's
it's funny. My brother Rob's sons are huge Mr. Beast fans. They got Mr. Beast cups and clothes and shirts and shorts, and they like his chocolate, Mr. Beast chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was there, huh? Cool.
But anyway, that first game, he finally comes on, and they were losing at that point, right?
Yeah, they're down.
Was it 1-0?
I'm trying to remember the logistics.
Oh no. I think they might have been tied.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were tied.
They were tied. They tied the game, and then it was into extra minutes. And then they get a foul just outside the box. There's no time left. Messi sets the ball up for a free kick. Everybody's watching. Everyone's on their feet. And he does the Messi magic. He hits it, and it just floats right into the top corner. And the whole stadium erupts. We're all jumping, dancing. I grabbed her. We were going crazy. They shooting fireworks. It was.
And they had smoke bombs too.
Yeah, and they're
one of those things that like once in a lifetime kind of feelings.
Once in a lifetime. So
that's awesome. I'm so pumped that you guys got to experience that together. What a cool father-daughter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, McKenna, I met your dad close to 20 years ago. We used to play FIFA on the Xbox.
Really?
We did.
yeah, with Ashton, with a young Ashton,
Yeah.
and your dad always picked the teams that had Messi on them. He always wanted
Oh
to be
my
Barcelona.
gosh. You pushed
And
that home.
back then, Messi was like 19 years old. He was like new in the league,
Oh
and
my
but he
gosh.
was still incredible. And even back then, your dad was a huge Messi fan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Had a few less gray hairs back then.
a couple less gray hairs, didn't have the beard,
No.
but yeah. So, Mark, 2 years ago, my brother told you this was going to happen. You said it wouldn't, because you didn't think he'd ever come to a scrub league like the MLS. So, what are your thoughts now that he finally did come last year? He's going to finish his career here, very similar to the way Pele did when he came to the New York Cosmos. Um, Kaká came to the MLS to finish his career, and other players. What are your thoughts?
Well, Rob proved me wrong, and I'm glad he did. But everything had to line up perfectly for him to come here. Like Barcelona had to mess up and get rid of Messi. Messi would have
Mhm.
never left Barcelona. You
I
saw
agree.
he was crying. He was so heartbroken when he had to
Mhm.
leave Barcelona. I mean,
Mhm.
he had been there from a little child, a little
Mhm.
kid. That was his club. That is his club. So
Actually, he was with him when he was like 16 or something, right? It was even before he was a pro.
13, I think.
I
It's
think
when
he
he
was
first,
he was a trainee for a couple years.
yeah,
Mhm.
13.
Yeah.
But so he was heartbroken. Then he went to PSG, and then PSG, I'm not a fan of the French soccer anymore
Right.
because the way they treated Messi was despicable. They were
Right.
booing him, they didn't treat him well. The team manager, he made him secondary to
Yeah.
Mbappe.
Right.
Uh, and Messi's humble. He dealt with it, but his family did not have a good time there at all.
Hmm.
So when he had the opportunity to go back to Barcelona
Yeah.
or Miami, he was thinking about his family at that point. His
Hmm.
family went through hell in France, so he's like, Miami's going to be the best place for a family. It's going to be
You you're right about everything having to line up all together, because I know the reason Rob predicted it and a bunch of us predicted it was he already had a condo, $3 million condo in Miami. He already spent a lot of time there in the off season.
yeah.
It's close to South America. He's from Argentina. Um, he's really good friends with David Beckham, who's the owner of the team
Well,
and the
Beckham
general
was
manager.
sneaky. He was sneaky. He was for years and years talking to Messi's dad, saying, "We want Messi. We want Messi."
Yeah.
He was sneaky. He would sneak in, and he did everything he could to plant that seed to get Messi to come here, and it worked. It worked. Now
Well, think
they
about they
spend
said the
a lot of money.
value of the team when David
Yeah,
Beckham bought his 51% was like $50 million, and now it's approaching 2 billion. So
it's
I mean,
crazy.
the reason he was approaching Messi's dad was because he knew what it would do to the shares of the club if he did come
He's a
over here and
smart
play in
businessman, but
the
also he knew, if he could get Messi here, it'll change the MLS. I mean, we've had Pele, we've had big names before, but they've never built a team around them before.
right.
They've never, they've just brought one player and then thought he would do everything. You still need a good team. And, you know, and and Beckham, being a soccer player himself, he knows that. He knows
Mhm.
better. So they didn't just bring Messi. After he got here, they got Busquets, then Jordi
Mhm.
Alba, and
Mhm.
now Suarez. Are
And
you
now
kidding?
Suarez, I know,
It's
unbelievable.
like mini Barcelona right here in our doorsteps. I can't believe it. But
Yeah,
he's gonna be here for a couple of years, and I want to see him as much as I can. Everyone should.
absolutely. Well, I can't wait to go down to a game with you guys. I'm excited.
You need to, man. There's nothing
Looking
like it.
forward to it. Looking forward to it. Going to be great. It's interesting. He passed up 250 million a year to play in Saudi Arabia,
Right.
similar to a couple of other players have done that. He took 50 million a year, which is still a lot of money, but he also did something really important. He took a stake in Inter Miami, so he actually has an ownership stake, and so I think that's a new model going forward in all sports that players are going to start wanting, especially the superstars,
Yeah,
are going to want a little slice of the team if they're going to increase the team's value that much.
yeah.
And I mean,
Well,
imagine the
especially
jersey
MLS,
sales. Mhm.
especially with them because they don't have superstars other than who they can bring in at their, at the
Right.
later stages of their career. This is the biggest name I think MLS will ever get. So they really need to do what they can
Very
to
true.
bring all the fans they possibly can. I mean, it has already changed the sport already, in my opinion. There's a lot more eyes on the game now than it ever has been. The problem is there's a few. One, they still have, the salary cap going on for teams,
Mhm.
and that, puts a handcuff on teams getting their own superstars. They're allowed up to three designated players, right? And then they got some other tricks they can do to
Mhm.
pay quality players, but that cap is holding them back from bringing in stars and really building the league up to something, like the top leagues they want it to be. If they wanted to
Well,
continue being below the top leagues, then the cap is fine. After Messi leaves, it'll go back to what it was. But
do you think so, or do you think it's going to be like I think Messi is an inflection point for the league, and I kind of feel like there's going to be pre-Messi and post-Messi in terms of the league and its growth and its popularity. With these TV deals that are coming in, and
right,
I wonder if it's going to go back or if it's going
depends
to
how they
be
handle the salary cap. It depends.
Mhm.
If they start
Mhm.
bringing in young, up and coming stars, international players,
Mhm.
as well as homegrown players. I mean,
Mhm.
but they really got to bring in young, up and coming superstars, and
Mhm.
most of them are not going to want to come here unless they see a good future here.
Mhm.
If they're
Right.
not able to make it in the big leagues, then yeah, MLS for sure. But if they are able to sign with Premier League or any major European league, they're going to go
Right.
there.
No
Even if
doubt.
they take less money, they'll go there. But so that's a big deal. If
Yeah.
they change the salary cap, the MLS will change.
No question.
Not, then they're just getting a turbo boost right now, and they'll go back
Mhm.
to what it was. So
Well, I'm really excited to see if it continues to grow, and I'm hoping, like for McKenna's generation and beyond, that it really does keep growing and it becomes one of the premier leagues. We will
yeah,
see. I'm going to go
yeah,
ahead and share my screen. Um, we're going to take a look at a couple of things here. We're going to kind of wrap up the 2023 season, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the 2024 season.
gotcha.
So 2023, of course, we had the completion of our 28th season in Major League Soccer in the U.S. and Canada. Major League Soccer was the new formation of pro soccer here. We used to have several other leagues before this one, including the one that had the New York Cosmos and Pele, who before Messi was our biggest get as a country in terms of great player. The league expanded to 29 clubs last year with the addition of St. Louis City and Nashville FC. So they went from 27 to 29. League attendance was up 11%, which is really great. I mean, I'm sure some of that was contributed because of Messi and Inter Miami, but most of the clubs were up. I know Charlotte FC was in its second season, my team, and their attendance was up higher than it was in the first season. So that's been a really good trend. And then TV ratings overall for MLS were up 14%. So really promising signs there for the growth of the league. What are your thoughts about that?
I think Messi was a big part of that. He came in the middle of the season, but it
Hmm.
gave it a huge boost once he came.
No doubt.
So I'm sure the numbers are going to keep growing this year.
No,
Definitely,
I
especially
absolutely agree with that.
yeah,
Another thing that contributed to, I think, the league attendance and also ratings was this fourth item here, which is the month-long pause for the first time ever to accommodate a mid-season tournament called the Leagues Cup, which was a tournament between MLS clubs and Liga Mexico opponents. So you had both clubs from Mexico and the U.S. in there. And unbelievably, I couldn't even believe my eyes. Inter Miami with Messi come out as champions of the tournament mid-season. He'd only been there for 2 weeks, and it was really just incredible to watch. But I think that really gave that turbo boost to the league. What do you think about that?
For sure. That's first tournament he plays, first trophy Inter Miami gets is it's incredible. Most people thought, there's a lot of critics out there. Most of them thought he would take quite a while to get adapted
Mm-hmm.
to physicality. They're saying physicality always over here.
Mm-hmm.
The teams are physical, they are very young, and they are fast for sure.
Mm-hmm. No
But
doubt about
we're talking about Messi, people.
it. This is why I had Mark on the program. So passionate. I love it.
Talking about Messi.
So the next one is really important. I mean, no league in the United States or really anywhere can grow without TV broadcasting. MLS struggled its first 25 seasons because nobody would show it on TV. So you basically had to go to the games to see it. But just recently, it's been picking up. And with the addition of Messi and last year's season, Apple TV signed a 10-year deal with MLS, bringing a significant capital into the league, tripling the TV broadcast money for the league. Their secondary partner is Fox Sports. So both of those two, Apple TV and Fox Sports, are going to share all the broadcast rights. So this has been a big deal. Your complaint and concern about the salary cap is a good one. I think because of this TV deal, I can't imagine the teams won't increase their salary caps quite a bit.
I hope
What
so.
what are your thoughts?
It's up to the league, but I hope so. I hope they remove that cap.
Yeah.
They need to.
I don't know about unlimited cap, but I'd like to see them increase it quite a bit
Yeah.
so that
They
they
need to
can
increase it. Yeah.
bring some more Messis of the world over here. I know Ronaldo wants to come eventually, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at Saudi Arabia. They're paying one guy 250 million. They
250
don't
million a
have a
year.
cap over there.
And by the way, that's for 2 years. And then he's already indicated that he would like to come over here and play for LAFC or LA Galaxy. So I have to think in 2 years
That
he'll
would be
be.
amazing if it does.
Yeah, yeah, I think he will.
Face Messi again. That would
Yeah,
be great.
go live in LA.
LA would
If
be
he,
great for him too. He acts like a movie star.
he does.
Come
It'd be
on.
That's
perfect.
her guy. That's her guy.
Ronaldo.
She
Wait, you
loves,
like Ronaldo, McKenna?
she does.
Ronaldo.
What are you going to do, McKenna, if he comes and plays in the MLS? Are you going to stick with
I'm
Inter
gonna wear my
Miami?
Ronaldo
He'll
jersey.
be wearing Ronaldo.
Wait a
No,
minute.
Messi.
What about Messi?
I love him too, but he's second.
He's second.
Have you seen Ronaldo with his shirt off
Yeah.
now?
I try not to look, but yeah,
She
I'm sure
has.
it's nice.
Try
I'm
not to
sure it's
look.
nice.
Listen,
Oh my gosh.
that guy's like a model. He's like a model.
Leave him alone.
He is truly one of the greatest players to ever play the game. He,
Yeah, no, he's great. And to see
just
those two
below
guys face
Messi,
off,
but
Okay.
still one of the greatest.
to see those two guys face off at 38 years
Prettiest.
old in the U.S. League, that would be something special, right?
That would be. That would
Yeah.
be. I don't know. I don't know how long Messi can do this. He's having injuries again this season.
Yeah,
They just subbed him out early the last game because of
right.
muscle issues on his
I
right
saw
leg. So,
I think they lost their last game too. I was surprised by
no,
that.
no, no,
Or they
sir.
lost. Or they lost. They lost a
Well,
game recently.
yeah,
I remember.
the last MLS game, yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
last
MLS. Yeah.
that game, but the most recent game they played was the CONCACAF game against
Yes.
Nashville.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
They destroyed them at home. They
Mhm.
were at 2-2 was the score when they went to Nashville, and then
Mhm.
when Nashville came to Miami, it was 3-1. So
Mhm. Nice.
they move
Fan
on
boost.
in the CONCACAF.
When's the next game you guys are attending?
We have to check the schedule. We're in our RV now, so we're planning on moving soon
Mhm.
towards Florida, hopefully, and then we'll plan the next one. I'm trying to plan it where I know Messi's going to play, and that's a
Mhm.
challenge. it's, because it costs a lot, even just to go down there.
Are
Like,
you still planning to sell some of your tickets that you don't attend?
yes, I do sell some of them,
Okay,
so I don't take a huge loss.
nice.
And we're gonna need to choose a game to go
Yeah,
to.
let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, seats are great. They're planning on building a new stadium, supposed to be complete in 2025.
mhm.
They're adding a bunch of seats. Right now they have about 18,000 seats, and they're gonna add about 7,000 more, I think. So right around 25,000 seats, new stadium. And that'll be open in 25.
Nice.
So
So Final Four for 2023 was FC Cincinnati, Houston Dynamo, Los Angeles FC, and Columbus Crew. Columbus Crew's been there before. They've won several championships. They're kind of a really good program in the MLS. And Los Angeles FC is kind of a newcomer to the scene. They've only been a franchise for a couple of years. It used to be the Los Angeles Galaxy or LA Galaxy. And I know the LA Galaxy faithful are kind of jealous now that Los Angeles FC has taken over the LA market. So we'll see if LA Galaxy can make a return. And then Columbus Crew ended up winning the championship. I think it was their third championship yet. So that was 2023, really good season in the books. Let's talk about 2024. So for the first time since 2016, they are not adding a club this year. They will add one club next year in 2025. That'll be the 30th team. And then the understanding is that they're going to pause for a while after they add FC San Diego. So that'll be interesting. We're also going to have our mid-season 2024 Leagues Cup, similar to what we did in 2023. That'll be between mid-July and mid-August. Miami will be the defending champs in that tournament. We'll have to see how they do, but that should be a really exciting tournament to watch. Regular season is going to be 34 total regular season matches. You and I have talked about this. That's a really long season for these guys, especially the Miami Crew that are all 36 years old by average. So we'll see how they make it through it. But in each conference, the top 9 teams go for 18 total out of the 29 actually go to the playoffs. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that's ridiculous. There's too many teams make the conference in the playoffs. Too
Yeah,
many.
I would
It
agree.
makes it so easy to make it there. That doesn't create incentive for teams to, play their stars. All you have to win is maybe last season a team got in with only 10 wins out of
Right,
34 teams. That's
right,
terrible.
right.
They make the playoffs? No.
So you're saying there should be fewer teams, and you should make it a much higher incentive for regular season to actually count and mean something. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it watered down all the regular season games because right now, especially with superstars like Messi, Suarez, Busquets, Jordi Alba, Tata Martino's not gonna play him every game for that reason.
Right,
They know how to do the math. They know they don't care if they finish top in the regular season. They don't care because they know
right,
if they get in there, they're gonna take it to whoever they face.
right,
Whoever they face is gonna be scared, no matter who they play. So it I don't like it, especially as a season ticket holder
right.
and
Season
fan.
ticket holder. Yeah, and also think about the people that aren't a season ticket holder but buy
Yeah.
them for $1,000 a ticket from you, and
Or
they're going to see
Messi.
Messi,
Yeah.
and it's their one chance, and then all of a sudden they paid $2,000 for 2 tickets, and they're sitting there, and Messi doesn't play.
Yeah. It's
Very
it's not a
disappointing.
good feeling. I've already experienced that. It's not.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they don't tell you anything about who's going to play or not until the very
right,
day of. I don't like that either. If they're
right.
going to bench their stars, they need to give it more of an advance notice. It's
Yeah.
not fair.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And
Similar to the injury list that they have to do a couple days ahead of time, same kind of thing.
yeah,
Who's your lineup going to be?
they literally wait hours before, sometimes right before kickoff. I mean, it's not, I
Yeah,
don't like that at all.
right.
But,
Yeah,
so they need to work on that. I don't know why they think more teams in playoffs is better. It's silly. It's silly.
They
You're
do
trying to
because
best team.
they do because it's an American mentality, like in the NFL. You have more teams. That means more cities have hope. That means more cities are interested. If only the top 6 teams get in every year and they're always the same teams, then you've got 24 cities that just turn MLS off and aren't interested and don't watch the games, don't attend the games. So that's the idea, is that you want more cities to have hope and more cities to be involved in the playoffs.
How many teams make? How many teams are there total in NFL?
NFL, it's 16 now, 16 out of the 32. So basically half the league makes it.
Half the league.
Yeah. Yep.
16.
Mm-hmm.
So
So what do you think the total should be if
18 out of
if 18?
20.
Yeah. What do you think? What do
That's
you think the
pretty
playoffs should be?
I would say the maximum half of the field, the maximum.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there has to be incentive. There has to be a goal. I don't know how many times the team that scrapes into the playoffs have ever won everything. I
Mm-hmm.
don't watch NFL that close, but I know with soccer,
Mm-hmm.
professional leagues, it's very, very rare for any team that just scrapes into the playoffs to ever win the whole thing. So
Right. Right. No
other
doubt
than
about it.
other than making the tournament longer and making more money off of it,
Right.
there's no point in it.
True.
Um, you know,
So
the World Cup is the only thing. I mean, even those teams have to qualify, and it's grueling to qualify
it
for
is.
the World Cup. They don't just hand you a seat in it,
That's right.
but they're letting
So
everyone.
next topic there, Mark, you mentioned the VAR system that MLS uses is not very good and isn't anything close to the Hawkeye system that's used in the Premier League in England. So what's your comment there? What is it about the MLS VAR that you would like to see improved?
Yeah, right now, as far as I know, and from what I've seen, they don't use the Hawkeye, which is it's some software that is used with the camera systems that will show a precise line across the field, and it'll show you exactly if the player's onside or not.
Mm-hmm.
Which in my opinion is more fair because everyone it's more accurate, therefore more fair. Right now, they're just using, somebody's what they can see or for the angle that is provided. And most of the time, they don't have the best angle to see if
Right.
someone's outside or not. You're
Right.
looking from behind at an angle or ahead at an angle. There's no ways you can really tell. So they have to either be really offside or they're not going to call it, and there's going to be a lot of mistakes because of them. I don't know
Yeah,
if it
no doubt.
costs a lot of money and they don't want to invest. I
Yeah.
don't know. But I
That's
think
interesting because you would think the MLS, being in the United States, would want to go to the best system possible. I know the NFL has gotten really sophisticated. Baseball has gotten very sophisticated in use of technology. Really, all the sports have hockey.
right.
So I have to think MLS is going to try to follow suit and try to be
And
at
it's
least
much
at the
faster.
European.
It's much faster to call someone onside or off. Right now, like the previous game we watched, they used VR a few times, and it was quite a long time because
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to make a mistake,
Right.
But
Right.
how are they going to be accurate when they don't have the best tools to do
True.
the best decisions? So,
It's a good suggestion. I think maybe you should be the MLS commissioner, Marcus.
yeah,
You should.
I'd have a VIP box in Inter Miami first of all.
And then your assistant commissioner will be McKenna.
That'll be my office.
The payment.
McKenna, aka
McKenna.
Sisheim.
That's right.
Ah,
All right,
All
so
right.
a couple new rule changes this year are going to be kind of interesting to watch. And by the way, I wanted to tell you I did subscribe for the Apple TV MLS package about a week ago,
Nice.
so I'm really kind of excited. It's the way I'm going to be able to see all the Charlotte FC games, which is my team.
Nice.
But some of the new rule changes in stadium announcements of video referee decisions. That's going to be interesting to see how the crowd reacts when they're more transparent with those video referee decisions. And then also the showing of the actual replay that the video referee gets to see on the Jumbotron. So they're going to kind of try to bring the fans into the actual decision itself and try to make sure there's no controversy around it, so everybody agrees what they see. What are your thoughts about that one?
That'd be nice. But again, if it's just camera angles, it's it's gonna be hard to tell. And obviously, if it's your team, you're gonna be yelling, onside, onside, and
Right.
it's. I don't think it's gonna be helpful.
Yeah.
The situation.
It's going to feel like it's more transparent, but you're right. It might not be as precise as we really would like it in these games.
Right.
So the next thing, we're going to have time limit for substitutions. It's a shorter window to get on and off the field. Essentially, you're going to have 30 seconds to sub a guy on and get a guy off. It has to be very quick. The idea here by the league is that they want to try to prevent as much as possible the teams that try to tank at the end of the game, like the last 5-6 minutes, and try to run out the clock by constantly substituting and wasting time. In addition, they're going to not allow any substitutions in the final 2 minutes of the game unless there's a serious injury. What are your thoughts there?
A lot of U.S. teams are used to playing that way. When, say, they're up 2 goals, they'll do that strategy. They'll do what's called park the bus. They don't try to score anymore. They're just wasting time, flopping on the ground like somebody shot them, rolling around 5 minutes.
And actually, you say that, but I spent a lot of years living over in Europe and watching European soccer, and they do it too. I've never seen so much flopping as in Premier League and French League and Italian League. They just flop all the time, flop, flop, flop. And actually, in some ways, when I was a kid, I was kind of McKenna's age. There were times where I was a little bit turned off watching soccer because there was so much flopping. I knew it was fake. I knew that they were acting. So
there needs to be cards. They need to start throwing cards out for that. We have the camera systems now.
Yeah.
I hate flopping. And when I talk to people who say they don't like soccer, that's one of the biggest complaints they have.
Typically, yeah. Now, I have seen a couple yellow cards last year in the MLS playoffs where they actually did call the guy for flopping and he wasn't even touched. I actually have seen it called before.
I have, but it's rare.
Yeah.
It needs to be more common, so it stops.
Right.
It really does. It takes away from the beauty of the game.
It does.
It does. Suarez, I love the man, but he's professional at it.
He is. He's unbelievable. He must have taken acting classes in high school or something.
Oh my goodness.
And I always wonder if these guys, these soccer players, what do you think, McKenna? Do you think that they have to take acting classes?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They're pretty good at it.
Yeah, they are pretty good at it. What do you do when you play?
I'm dying.
flop?
I've had the experience of how many
Do you
times.
Do you flop, McKenna, when you play?
No, I don't flop
No.
on the ground.
No.
Okay. All right, good.
So
Third item there is the mandatory off-field checks of injured players while play continues. This has always been a complaint that MLS has been very amateur at this compared to all the European clubs who have gotten very used to just basically pulling the guy off the field or limping him off the field, letting the club trainer take a look at him off the sideline while play continues. So MLS is making a big move this year into doing this process, basically getting the guy off the field and play is going to continue on. What are your thoughts about that?
I like it. That's good. I don't know how long of a time they have to flop around the ground before they make them go off the field. Hopefully they put a limit to the time wasting there. But that's good. I mean, they've done that before in the past, but I don't know if they have a time limit of how long you can be on the ground before you have to go off the field. That would be nice to see.
No doubt. Last one is going to be the replacement referees are going to be in place until the regular referee union comes to a contract. They're actually holding out right now. First couple of weeks of MLS that we've just finished, replacement referees have been okay so far. I haven't seen any major complaints. The Some of them are from college ranks, some of them are from the semi-pro ranks. But it'll be real interesting to see what happens there as we follow the contract negotiations. So that's kind of the MLS 2024 season preview. Let's move on to some of the biggest open questions coming into this year. You guys ready for them?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that logo, McKenna?
I do.
Yeah.
Pretty.
All right, here we go.
Yeah,
First
but
is, how bad will those replacement refs be this season? And is it going to be a problem? What do you guys think?
I don't think so. I mean, I haven't seen any major issues with who's out there right now. Again, it's the VAR is going to help a lot of that. If there's a penalty situation or a foul or a card,
Mhm.
VAR is going to be very helpful with that. So, and they can overturn a bad call with the use of it.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't see any issue with
And
anybody.
and really, the college referees are pretty darn good. I mean, I've
They
been
are.
watching college soccer for a long time, and you don't get to college refereeing unless you're pretty good. The other thing I'd mention is this is not going to really become an issue until you get into some really important games.
Yeah.
So early season, regular season games, I don't see it being an issue. When you get into the Leagues Cup in the middle of the season with the Mexican clubs, and you get deep into that tournament, it could become a problem where you have really suspect calls, even, especially those calls that maybe can't be reversed by VAR, because there definitely are some
Yeah.
some calls that are subjective during the game. So. And when you get deep into the season and into the MLS playoffs, it could be a problem there as well. So you have to
Yeah.
hope that the contract will be ironed out before then.
Hope so.
Otherwise, Mark and McKenna, they're looking for refs. So get your certification.
Whoever's playing Miami.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
right.
Wow.
That's right. All right, next one. This is a big one for you guys as season ticket holders, attenders in Miami. And that's, will Miami boom or bust? And what that means is, are they going all the way, or are they going to get knocked out at some point because they've got these four fantastic players that are all 36 years old and they're starting to break down and have some injury problems? What do you guys think?
It's a
What's the
good
prospect?
question. I have to plug my laptop in. That's a good question.
Electrocuted. That was
Um,
nuts. I would've done
again,
that.
you
I mean,
got
there's
it.
really no MLS club we've ever had that's been under this kind of scrutiny or pressure, right? And kind of expectation to deliver. I would think that you put together four guys from Barcelona in the MLS, and you have to think they're the best team, right?
They are definitely the best team. The only issue would be their health, right? They're older. Messi's 36, and
Mhm.
he's already, having injury issues. Last season, he was out a
Mhm.
few games. This season, he left the last game early because of muscle issues with his right leg. So
Right.
that's a big question, They're older. This is everyone's targeting Messi. All these coaches
Mhm.
are telling their players, don't be scared of him, don't be shy, get in there, get dirty, get physical, which is
Mhm.
good, but it's banging his body around, and
It
he's
is.
not young anymore. So how much banging he'll be able to take remains to be seen. Hopefully he'll make it through the season all right, but
Mhm.
this year his schedule is so packed.
Yeah,
So
talk a little bit about that, because I think the average MLS fan might not understand or realize the demands on these players, especially the international players. They don't just have the MLS season to deal with, right? They've got
right, they
lots
play
of other
for their
commitments.
club, their international team. So he's going to be playing for Argentina in Copa America. They're actually playing here in America, which is
Hmm.
awesome.
Hmm.
Tickets are very expensive. I looked.
Hmm. Nice.
They sold out very fast, so everything's secondary market right now.
Hmm.
It's kind of like Taylor Swift prices.
Hmm.
Didn't
She
know
knows
that
about
Taylor
that.
Swift either.
T Swift fan over here. But
McKenna, what would you do if you went to lunch with Lionel Messi and Taylor Swift?
oh,
I wouldn't be there. I'd be passed
We're-
out on the
we
floor.
would never
That's
leave.
on the floor.
Eh, yeah,
So
that
he's got Argentina, he's got CONCACAF, he's got
CONCACAF tournament. He's
what
got
else is he?
the League's Cup, I guess.
Elite Cup, yeah.
So summertime, they're gonna
Copa
be
America.
packed full of those two tournaments. They got the
Mhm.
Copa. They got CONCACAF they're doing right now, and they got the MLS
Mhm.
regular season and the playoffs at the end of
Mhm.
the
Right.
and they really want to win as many trophies as they can. So the focus, because it's so easy to get into playoffs in MLS, the focus is going to be the tournaments.
Yeah, so basically Miami's not going to worry about being the number one seed, right? Similar to the
No,
way
they're
the
not going to care
Lakers,
about that at all.
this is very similar. I looked at them as the Lakers of the MLS league. So the Lakers, what they do, they have all these aging guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So what they do is they don't care about being number one in the West. They do what's called load management, and they play LeBron a couple games, then they give him a night off. Then they play him a couple games to give him a night off. That's what they do, and what they end up doing is barely slipping into the playoffs, and they're fine with that because they know that they're going to put all of their effort into the tournament, which is the playoffs. So do you think that's what Miami's going to do?
Yeah, I mean, load management in MLS for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad to say because, I have to guess what games he's going to be playing in just
Mm-hmm.
like everybody else. But, at the same time, I'm so glad he's here. And it's not just him. When Messi's not on, now they have Suarez. Suarez, when he first, preseason, was not
Mm-hmm.
looking good. He
Mm-hmm.
was not looking good. But, after his first goal, he's been nonstop. He's been absolute beast.
Right.
He's
Yep.
been old Suarez we all love. And him and Messi just they're almost telepathic with each other. They know how to exactly pass the ball to each other, where they're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
So easy for them to score
I
with
mean,
each
what a
other.
super team! What a super team they put together, right?
It's incredible. And then
Yeah.
Jordi Alba, whenever he feels like it, he gets up there and scores. It's crazy. Busquets, he's a superstar, but you barely even see him anymore because hear his name because all these other superstars are doing such
Mm-hmm.
amazing things. He's still incredible. He's had his hands full though in the middle because the weakest
Mm-hmm.
part of the team is the defense. And Tata he's been making big moves there. He traded Yellen, which was a big
Mm-hmm.
move
I
recently.
saw that. Yeah, yeah.
Traded Yellen out. He went to Cincinnati, and
Mm-hmm.
he's picking up all these young guns, all these young guys. So the whole back line, everybody's very young back
Mm-hmm.
there, and
And
to
isn't
have
that really the question with Miami? It was last year, and I think it is again this year. The question is really on the defensive side, right? They've got lots of scoring,
yeah,
but the defense is really the question.
it is, and it is
Yeah.
her favorite player. Tell him who that is
Oh my
on
gosh.
on
I
Miami.
have so many
Who is it?
favorites.
Who is it?
Benjamin Kramaski.
Really?
Hermaski.
What
Yeah,
position does he play?
jersey.
Yeah,
What
show
position does he
back.
play?
He plays midfielder.
Oh, wow.
Number
Nice.
30.
Now Robinson moved on, right?
Yeah,
I
he's
think so.
gone.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Warmed
I
up.
was never a fan of him,
No?
so I was definitely not sad about that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, no.
Well, we've reached the point where we're ready for you guys' prediction. We're going to start with Mark. Mark, boom or bust for Miami this year?
For what? The tournaments or MLS?
MLS winning the whole thing.
It's gonna be a heck of a long season
Oh
for
my
these
God.
guys. If they're able to make it through all these tournaments in this season, injury free, nobody can beat them. That's
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that'll stop them is injuries. No one can
Mm-hmm.
beat them. I don't care who they put out there. They can even put some Premier League teams out there and they'll still beat them.
Mm-hmm.
They're
No
that
doubt.
good. But That's the thing, injuries, and this season is grueling. And it's not the MLS season; it's all these tournaments in
Yeah.
between it.
And I think they'll have some success in some of the tournaments at least, right? I mean, there's no way they're going to get shut out.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
for
think.
sure. If I were to bet, I would bet they would win the first tournament for sure. Because right now is the best chance for all of them to be healthy.
Right.
So
No doubt about
CONCACAF,
it.
I think the chances of winning that is super high.
My prediction is they will win one, maybe even two tournaments during the season. And I
Mhm.
think they'll get into the playoffs, and I think they'll kind of limp into the playoffs because they're going to be kind of banged up. And
Yeah,
I think they will end up not winning MLS playoffs because it's just such a long season. It's such a grind.
it is.
And, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll win the whole thing. But I just have a feeling they're going to win some of these early season tournaments because they're just
Yeah,
like you said, they're the best team.
yeah, it is. It is. Yeah,
All right.
it's
Well,
not MLS itself, it's just all the other tournaments involved. So
I
hopefully
think
they stay healthy.
I know the answer from McKenna, but McKenna, boom or bust?
I think we're gonna boom.
Oh,
We got
nice.
we got Taylor. Boom. We got
Uh,
Taylor. We have all
uh,
those guys. Who else? We have Benjamin.
Benji,
Once he
he's
comes
mhm.
injured,
back.
by the way.
Once he
He's
comes back.
injured. He's been on recovery.
It's been 2 months, so it's like
Yeah.
one more month and he'll be back.
It would be nice to see them have a full team, at least for parts of the season. I'd really like to see the full team play.
I
Well,
know.
let's go to the next item here. We got USMT. Will they call up more MLS players in 2024? It used to be the USMNT, which is the national team, used to play with primarily MLS players for many World Cups. But now there's so many US players playing overseas. I think I saw the other day there's something like 78 players from the US playing in Europe right now. And so the coach Greg Berhalter has started to basically shun MLS players and only pick US players that are playing in Europe. So it's been a little bit of an embarrassment for the MLS. What are you guys' thoughts? Are we going to get some more MLS players joining the national team?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I know the talent is there for sure.
Hmm. No
Um,
doubt.
but again, I mean,
You
it's
have
grueling. It's grueling to be a soccer player. People think NFL is tough. It is only because of the tackling, but not because the physical side of it, being in shape. There's no other sport you can name where you have to be in such good shape as you have to in soccer, and
mhm.
it's
I mean,
grueling.
you have 11 players in the MLS that have international experience. That will have at least one cap with the national team. You've got Christian Roldan, you've got Jordan Morris, you've got Acosta, Ferreira, Walker Zimmerman, DeAndre Yedlin, Miles Robinson,
Calendar, right? The goalie.
Diego Luna, Calendar. So you got, all these guys have at least one cap. And so I've got to think that Berhalter will want to have a good mix of European players, of course, because that's where a lot of the talent is, but mix in some of these MLS guys that have experience. That's my
But you know
feeling
what
on
the
it.
problem? The U.S. men's national team. This is the problem with America evolving. In soccer, the club level soccer here is incredibly expensive. So
Hmm.
you have to be upper middle class or richer to have your kids in club soccer.
Right.
In Europe and everywhere else where soccer, all the elite teams are, it doesn't matter what money you have, it's based on talent. And they'll come
Hmm.
find you. If you're talented enough, you are going to get signed up on a club team and you play for free. You don't have to
Hmm.
pay a dime. And that's how they get the best players in the world. I mean,
Hmm.
got millions of kids out here with more talent than a lot of the kids are in club soccer right now, but they're
Right.
never going to get the training they need.
You're absolutely right.
That
That's a
is
huge
not,
problem.
yeah,
Huge problem.
it's huge.
Yeah. The other problem we have here, of course, is that 90% of our greatest athletes go into either football or basketball or baseball or hockey.
Right. Right.
Our other problem is we have way too many sports that compete for talent. And in Europe, you know, football is king. So they have a little bit of rugby, they have a little bit of cricket, but for the most part, it's all about football, and that's the sport everybody wants to play. So that's our other problem here is that we have a lot of competition for sports.
It's again, MLS got to raise their caps. They got to draw on the bigger
Right.
talent, more
Exactly right.
fans.
All right, number
Starts
4, can the Rapids rebuild their U.S. national team careers? The Colorado Rapids had the largest set of signings in the offseason of free agents. They had 3 free agents coming with significant European experience, and that's Milovic, Vines, and Zach Steffen. And all of those guys have ex-U.S. national team careers and caps. So the question is, can these guys who have just joined the Rapids from Europe still continue their national team careers? What are you guys' thoughts?
I don't know anything about that. Sorry.
No worries. These guys, I mean, my feeling is they're going to have a little bit of an inside advantage because Berhalter knows them. He has got them on his radar. They're from Europe. They have the experience. They all have a cap under their belts. So got to think that the Rapids made all these splashy signings in the offseason and that hopefully, you know, 1 or 2 of these guys will get a chance with the team. So next one we got is what will become of the Open Cup. This is a tournament that had been very popular for a long time. And it was very much populated with MLS players and teams. It was kind of like the old CONCACAF or the old Leagues Cup, but it's starting to phase out and become less and less important. MLS has said they only want their lower end clubs playing in it. So we're talking like the bottom 6 teams in the league will be the representatives to the Open Cup. And Open Cup organizers are not happy about that. They're really upset, and they were kind of wondering if maybe this cup was going to end up folding because of all the competition. So what are your guys' thoughts? Is it
It's
just too crowded a field?
right now. It's so crowded. It is.
Yeah,
It's so crowded. There's just so many things these
right.
players can, you know.
You got CONCACAF, you got Leagues Cup, you got regular season playoffs, you got national team, you have Copa America. Copa America. I mean, it's
And
just
every one of those are demanding, victories from these teams, and it's just too much. You got to put a cap on that. And you got to protect these players.
my feeling is if the Open Cup organizers are going to refuse to take MLS's bottom 6 teams, then I think the cup will fold. That's my general
Yeah.
feeling on it. Yeah,
Most likely, yeah.
it's gotten phased out. It's kind of like in college football with the lower tier bowl games that have had to settle on taking the kind of the scrub teams out of each conference to survive.
Hmm.
Next one is, will sales to outside leagues start flowing again? There was a long period there where MLS actually had a really admirable record of sending U.S. players overseas, especially to Europe, on big contracts, in some cases for pretty large transfer fees, a couple $1 million per transaction. And in 2023, ironically, that kind of dried up, and that isn't really happening right now. So what's your thought about, is this going to become a European feeder system again like it used to be?
You know, um, it's always going to happen. There's always going to be players leaving, and there'll be players coming and going. It's ebb and flow, but for the U.S. itself to reach the upper echelons in this sport, like I said, they're gonna have to start changing how they do club soccer for youth.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise you're not gonna have many superstars showing up. It's just impossible. There's not enough kids with the proper training. I mean, Messi
Right.
was up as a young child, and flown to Spain.
Mm-hmm.
He lived and breathed in soccer every day in, day out. And that's why he's the best in the world. That's what's required to become that good. So
Mm-hmm.
US, they don't have that. They just don't have that.
That's right.
They're just not going to show up with so many superstars.
Yeah, I have to think that unless you have a Pulisic or a really outstanding, incredible player, or you have a European player who came to play here for a while, has done really well, and then Europe wants him back.
Yeah.
That might be another situation that they'll be willing to do a transaction. But yeah, for the most part, Europe's pretty good on getting their talent from different places.
Yeah, for
So we'll
sure.
see. I hope that starts flowing again because that's really good for the league to get those transaction fees. Next one is you've already alluded to this, Mark, but will the regular season really matter when you have 18 teams going to the playoffs?
I could go out there and play.
Oh my gosh.
It's at a certain point when they're past the number, the minimum number to make it in the playoffs, they can let anybody play. They'll let the third string play. It doesn't matter at that point. So
Will they
regular,
let Will they let McKenna play?
yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh my goodness.
They should.
starting at midfield for
Should
Inter
do a
Miami.
raffle for fans to
That's
play.
right.
You're
Starting at
getting
midfield.
my butt off.
Starting in midfield for Inter Miami.
Sign a
Oh my
waiver here.
gosh.
Sign a waiver.
That's right.
We
I
might be
think
out of breath in like 3 minutes.
the regular season mattered more when they had fewer teams. They used to have only 8 teams in the playoffs, and
Yeah.
it was much more serious. You had to really focus.
Yeah.
I agree with you. They've gone too far the other way. I'm not sure they go back to 8 again, but maybe cut it down to 10 or 12, and then you'd really see the teams really try to make it in. That's my feeling. That's the way to make the regular season better. So last one we got is, can Columbus do it again? They're actually the second best rated in Vegas right now. If you were to bet who's going to win it all, Miami's the number 1 rated in Vegas, and number 2 is Columbus to repeat. So
I think who's better than Columbus is
who?
Minnesota.
Huh?
Minnesota.
Interesting. Are they your dark horse this year?
They're my dark horse. I mean, they're starting off very strong, and either the teams they're
Yeah.
playing have been playing terribly, or
Yep.
they're just
I like Minnesota. I like FC Cincinnati. I think they've got a pretty good team. LAFC went to the final last year. They can't be discounted completely. I think those are probably the top. Yeah, Atlanta's pretty good. Yep.
They got
You got those
Yakima.
those are kind of the top 5 or 6 teams I think that we just mentioned.
Yeah,
But I'd say Columbus.
Atlanta's been doing well since their inception. They've done well.
I'd say Columbus has a shot.
Charlotte, my friend, they might make the playoffs.
Oh,
It's so easy, but
Charlotte was really close to making the playoffs its first 2 seasons. It missed the playoffs by 1 point its inaugural season, and it missed the playoffs by 2 points last year. They're literally right on the line. They did lose some really key players from their roster. We'll talk about that here in a second. So here it is. Key departures for Charlotte FC to try to make playoffs in its 3rd season. Carujo, who was one of my favorite Charlotte FC players, really excellent player. He ended up going to a team in Italy to play in the Italian league. And then Jozwiak and Swiderski were our two of our top 3 scorers last year. They're both Polish national players, and they play in the World Cup for Poland. Both of them returned to Europe to play. Swiderski to a Dutch team, actually. So really sad to see those 3 guys go. 3 of the core guys that almost got us to the playoffs last year. Some of the key signings we got this guy Diani, who apparently we wanted 2 years ago. We're unable to get him until he ran out his contract, but he's a really dynamic attacking midfielder. So it's going to be really fun to kind of watch him and see what he can do. In addition, Kalina, who's our goalie, is considered one of the top 3 goalies in the league. So he always gives you a chance when he's playing really, really well. And I really like the new coach Charlotte FC has. His name's Dean Smith. He was the assistant coach on the England national team in the last World Cup. So he's got a lot of really good experience. Very happy about that. And then we also added Petkovic from Czech Republic. Apparently he's also a pretty dynamic player. So we will see what happens. See if we can get over the hump this year.
Yeah, they need some building.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, they chose the wrong coach in year one and the wrong coach in year two. So they are very new. It's one of the newer franchises. I think they're doing the right things. I know that I went to the first game that Charlotte FC played 2 years ago, just like you did with Miami with Messi, and there were 79,000 fans there.
That's
Imagine
crazy.
that.
That's
The
crazy.
entire Panther Stadium was full, and they get an average of 30 to 35,000 every time they play. The atmosphere there in Bank of America Stadium is so electric. It's actually much more exciting than a Panthers game. It really is.
Wow.
Everyone's blowing the bougainvilleas, and they're got all the flags, and
Yeah.
it's just the atmosphere they've created for Charlotte FC games is really pretty cool.
Are you
So
gonna go Miami
they're ready
Cubs?
for a win. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You guys got to come up.
Well,
We
I
got
know.
to win.
You got to come up for it.
I
So
know,
let's
right?
talk about can Inter Miami take the MLS Cup? So some of their key departures, they lost Kamal Miller and they lost Joseph Martinez. Some of their signings, they got Nicholas Frary, Julian Gressel, and Luis Suarez, who you already mentioned as one of the most dynamic players in the world, to add to what was FC Barcelona. So this is the deepest roster in MLS history, and it's not even close. They're also looking at signing Federico Rendondo's kid, Federico. And apparently he's this young 18-year-old guy who's ready to come up, top 3 prospect in Argentina right now. And of course, very much wants to play with Messi as a young kid. He's probably his all-time idol. So it'll be interesting if they bring him up and try to develop him in the Miami system. But the biggest thing is you see the weakness there. You can carry one guy who can't defend, but can you carry 2 or 3 guys who can't defend? The defense was generally porous last year. So do you think they can they shore that up, do you think, enough to take it all the way?
Yeah, what I do like what Tata's been doing with the team. Yedlin is a really strong player, but it was time for him to move on. I'm glad that that trade happened. So he brought in, fresh new faces. Gressel, his first 2 games, I was very confused on why he was even on the field. He
Mm-hmm.
played terribly first 2
Mm-hmm.
games. But ever since then, Gressel has showed up. He showed up
Mm-hmm.
strong. He's
Mm-hmm.
had assists for goals. He's almost scored himself, hit the crossbar. Had a number of close calls of scoring himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's all over the field. He's making plays. He's a strong new player for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Suarez, he's unbelievable. He's been on fire. You can't stop that guy right now. You have to handcuff him to a chair for him to stop scoring at the moment. He's on
So they're
fire.
gonna. I mean, they're going to score a lot of goals. They're going to score 3 or 4 a week. The question is can they win all their shootouts? Because they're also going to give up goals, right? It's not
Right,
going to be 4-0. It's going to be 4-2, 4-3
right.
type of games.
Calendar, their goalkeeper, when he's on, is really hard to score on him. The
Mm-hmm.
defense will have to mess up, and they have messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But they're shoring up the defense. They've got Nicholas Ferreira over there. He's playing. He's
Mm-hmm.
playing well on defense. They've got Redondo now on midfield and Gressel. They all drop and they all help on defense. They've got Busquets who drops and helps on defense. They got
I
a
was
B.
watching I was watching the MLS overview of Inter Miami about a week ago, and they were saying Gressel was actually a really good addition for them.
I'm
He
telling
he,
you,
he
this
he brings
kid
the physicality. Brings the
impressive.
physicality.
And
Mhm.
when her boy gets back out there,
It's on.
Her
yeah,
boy.
Boy.
her boyfriend.
Oh
So
my God.
McKenna, what would you do with this defense if you were the coach? How would you get them to play a little tougher?
Oh. He used to not like Gressel. he used to really not like Gressel.
No, I didn't. First 2 games, he looked like
Yeah.
a chump.
And then he
Yeah.
went to the game live, and Gressel was like better.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
saw
good.
Gressel playing like that. I think I get rid of him.
Yeah.
His first 2 games, I think he was
Uh-huh.
scared.
Where did he come to Miami from? Do you know?
You know, I haven't researched his history.
No.
He
Okay.
just showed up one day.
Yeah.
He was like, "This is the new kid."
Like, who's
Yeah.
that?
Tata doesn't play when it comes to trades. He doesn't sit on his
Right.
hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, he does not. There's
Well,
no fly.
they're trying to address it. I mean, it's not like they're sitting on their hands. They're trying
No,
to address
he's
it.
making big moves. And what he's done so far is impressive. Tata
Mhm.
is very smart.
Mm-hmm.
A very smart
Mhm.
coach. That's another thing. I mean, if they just had regular owners like a lot of these teams do, I'm sure, that never played professional soccer. I mean, you've got to hand it to Beckham. He's done an incredible job putting this team together. Because Tata
Mhm.
Martino, he's a great coach. I'm sure he's one of the best in the MLS that you
No
could get
doubt.
at the moment. He took Atlanta, got them a title, you know, and
Yep.
now he's doing the same thing with Miami. He knows what he's doing. And he's a tactician. He sees the game like Messi does. He coached Messi before this in the high levels.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows this game inside and out. He knows what he's doing. I can't say the same for many coaches out there, but he really
Well,
does. So I have a lot of faith in him. And
well,
he's
send me the schedule and we'll pick a game to go to together
yeah,
down in Miami. I can't wait.
Yeah.
you
And
got
you
to go.
guys, let me tell you, Mark, you and McKenna, you guys are excellent soccer analysts. You're passionate fans for your team. You get people pumped about Messi. It's
Yeah.
great for the league, and really, really happy you guys joined this episode. Are you guys ready for dessert, which is your big treat?
Okay,
Oh,
This
yes.
is a video just for you guys. You haven't seen it yet, so I'm
so
interested to
Messi.
see your reaction. We'll talk about it when we get back on the other side. All right.
All right.
Okie dokie. Celebration.
Behind his right, Messi in the middle. Taylor cutting it to his right, trying to get it to Gramaski. Lionel Messi around Zimmerman. Messi!
Thanks, people. You think you're gonna stop him?
Martinez has time to turn into Messi. Advantage play.
On-range goal. Boom. Boom, pass. Okay. Oh, that's clear right there. So
Do its job. Messi up over.
wow. That was against Dallas, right? Dallas, yeah. That tied it up right there. That was crazy game. 4-4 right there.
Still Robert Taylor. Moves it to Joseph Martinez. Continues to go. Aquí viene Alves, centra Messi. I think he's onside. Messi with Gazan off his line. Messi!
Rebound. I think I'm all rebound over, but
Messi gets his second for Miami. Jordi Alba, what a touch!
This is
It's right.
nasty.
On his left, of course. Oh, what a block!
Back to Messi. That's a incredible. No MLS player can make that pass.
Oh, nobody coming to Campana, and Messi scores another one.
Look at that in the top. That's
Oh, yeah.
goal.
That's the goal we saw, baby. That's the goal I talked about. Unbelievable.
What'd you guys think of that?
Messi.
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 I was so thankful you guys decided to be on this program with us tonight, and I just had to show you that highlight reel, the 10 best goals that he scored so far for Miami. You guys agree with that ranking? Or do you think
He did that in a short period of time.
I know.
He's
incredible.
unstoppable. 5 goals already, I think. 5 games, 5 goals.
By the way, McKenna, did you see that goal that he kicked it and it went off the post and he followed it up and scored?
Yep, his own rebound.
Do you know a lot of players would not do that follow up, and they would.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, you need to do that going forward. You need to always follow up because
my
sometimes it
God.
hits the post. Follow it up.
He knew it was going to hit it. He followed it right up. So I just get my own rebound. Don't worry about it.
You notice the number 1 goal was the goal you guys witnessed.
I see.
Yes.
I'm very happy about that.
Pretty cool.
That was a special moment. We'll never forget that one.
Well, my hope is that Miami makes the playoffs, that they win a couple in-season tournaments. I'm hoping my Charlotte FC, I hope we make the playoffs. And I hope it's a really exciting season.
Oh my gosh.
Hope it's a really exciting season, and I'm really pumped about it. And thank you guys so much for joining this episode. Really happy to have you on.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having us.
Can't wait to see you guys soon, and let's pick a game. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Vámonos.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
See
You too.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. Try to subscribe to our channel and like this video, and come see our next one. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.